Christina cruising through life. I hope you're having an amazing day and are ready to hear what I do on Embarkation and a few tips. Alright, some of the things that I do on Embarkation Day is I arrive early. So, well, not always. I usually try to arrive very close to what my boarding time is. I have gone earlier than that, especially my last cruise, and we actually got on early, so amazing. But I don't do, like if it's Carnival, I don't buy faster to the fun. I'm not at that level to where I can get priority boarding on my own, so I tend to kind of go between 12 and 1. And because I know the rooms will be ready around 1, and then that way I can just bring my luggage on. On my last cruise, we got there early. We were able to board early, but I actually had, it sounds weird, I had a little shoulder injury. So this is one thing. If you have something where you feel it's going to inhibit you a little bit, and so my shoulder was hurting and I brought my bigger suitcase, but I knew I was going to give it to the porter that time. That is the first time I've actually given my luggage to the porter. I didn't get my luggage till even after my roomie, my friend, got theirs. And so I was like, I was wanting to unpack and I wanted to do things and stuff like that. And so I really like having my luggage. So going closer to 12 or 1 where I know the rooms are going to be ready and I can drop it off, that is what I prefer to do. Now, if I get to the point where I am, like in that status, then of course I will arrive a little bit earlier, but I think the biggest thing is just so I can drop off my own luggage. But if you do use the porter, tip them. Tip them. They're doing a great service. They're working really hard for you. And you know what? A little bit more tip. Actually, make sure your luggage doesn't end up in the ocean. All right. In your bag, even if you give your one bag to the porter, take your little carry-on tote. Now, on some ships, you can bring, a bottle of wine or champagne for 1 per person, per cabin. And then you can also bring like a 12-pack of canned soda. I think all the cruise lines have banned bottled water and stuff like that, like plastic and things like that. But you can bring like a 12-pack of soda. Then a change of clothes and maybe a swimsuit or things like that. Little things, your medication, your passport, your boarding stuff, all should be going in your little bag that you take with you on the ship. So that's something that you should be thinking about, is make sure you do not put that, give it with the porter, because then you won't be able to board. It'll be very difficult for you, that's for sure. So make sure you have all that done. So once I get on the ship, next I find my room. That's what I do. I go and I find my cabin. I like to know and navigate where I'm at. I usually kind of have an idea based on looking to see where I pick my cabin prior. But I go and I find my cabin, I check it out, I look at everything, I do a little unpacking. I usually can get that done pretty fast. It doesn't take me long to unpack. It was a little different this last time. Literally, I kept most of my stuff in my suitcase and I left it open and shoved it underneath the bed. But in the past, I have taken all my stuff out and put it in drawers and things like that. And I am done and ready to go. So that is the one thing that I do right after I jump on that ship. Then what I do is I go up and grab some lunch. So I go check out the buffet, see what's there, and then I kind of grab my lunch and my drink and just kind of relax and see. Now, usually the buffet is very, very busy. What I have found is, that works is that you can go outside and usually get on one of the decks and you can kick back and eat out there, and you're usually pretty good. You can eat, because some people may have not found those areas yet, and so that really helps. So you can go and kind of kick back other places. So usually the buffet area and the pool areas The middle Lido pool area is usually very busy, but if you go like to the aft pool or the next deck up where there's chairs and stuff, you usually will find a place to sit and kick back and have your lunch. So after lunch, what I usually do is I find my muster station. So I will go and I will navigate and find out where my muster station is, so I know exactly where I'm going for my muster drill, because it should be coming up pretty soon. Usually is maybe like a couple hours before we sail away, maybe right around there, and then that way I know exactly where I'll be walking to get there. Another thing that I do if I have time before the muster drill is I find my dining room. I've never had, okay, take that back. I've only had assigned dining once. And so we were able to find our table on the first night and everything was fine. I prefer anytime dining because I tend to not eat at 5 o'clock, 5:30, and I tend to not like eating at 7, 8 o'clock at night. So we kind of like 6, 7 o'clock for my husband and I, and that seemed to work out pretty well to have anytime dining. On the ships that we've been on, we've never had an issue. We've actually never even had to get a buzzer. So, I don't know, 5:30, 6. So 6 o'clock kind of works for us. I don't know. And then after I find the dining room, I go to the muster drill. It usually falls right about that time, so I'll find my muster station and kind of know where it's at, and if there's a little bit of time, I may go explore a little bit more, but then I make sure I hit that muster drill. Those tend to take not that long if everybody is cooperating, and sometimes muster drill is outside, sometimes it's inside. I've had both, so just be prepared for that. If you're any kind of wheelchair or assisted device, my brother used a walker with kind of a built-in seat. He'd be able to sit down and stuff like that on that. But just think of that when you're going to the muster drill if you need, if you're going to be, if you have mobility issues. So another thing that I love to do after the muster drill, or even before, but by the time the muster drill is over, I definitely go back to my cabin, and I'm usually around that time, you can find your cabin steward if you haven't met them earlier. But I love to meet my cabin steward. I love to talk with them. I love to get their name and where they're from, and then they usually will give a card and with their name and stuff on it, and I usually try to put it up close. Usually it's like right on the glass area. So I like my room to just be cleaned once a day, so I'll let them know that, and it's usually in the evening time because their evening time service is usually when we're at dinner, so it's perfect time for us. We come back and it's all nice and fresh and ready for us to go to bed. We find our little towel animal there, so it's all very nice. So the biggest thing, the last thing I do on embarkation day, which I shouldn't even say this, it's not really the last thing I do, but the one thing that I do, which has been a tradition, is I go up to the Lido deck. Sadie, stop. So pretty much one of the biggest traditions that I have with my husband is that we go up to the Lido deck and we take a picture on the Lido deck. So that is a very big tradition for us. And we'll be up there for a little while watching, waiting for sail away, basically. And so then there's sail away. And then after that, we kind of hang out and we look around. We may explore the ship a little bit, if it's a new ship, and we'll go around and check things out that we like to do. We definitely like to go find the mini golf. That's a big one for us. Gosh, if a ship didn't have mini golf, I don't know what we would do at midnight. And then after that, we go back to our cabin after sail away, and we go and we usually will kind of probably refresh a little bit and then go to dinner, which dinner, first night of the cruise, everyone is in so like, woo, in that great mood still. They're having a great time. So they're all experiencing what this vacation is going to be about. They're talking about what excursions are going to go on. And I think that plays out for the rest of the cruise. Like, what did you do today? And so, especially if you're on a table with other people, my husband and I tend to get like a little table with just the two of us because we like to have our personal time together. But your tables are pretty close together where usually you can like chit chat with your neighbors. And so it's really great to hear about what other people are doing, and then we share what we've done. So what are your favorite embarkation things to do? Leave a comment below. If you like this video, give it a like. If you liked it even more, subscribe. And follow me on social media on Snapchat, Facebook, and Instagram. Take care and have a great day.